We're going to start with Deebo Samuel. It's looking like he might play. He's been a full go in practice. There was a report last week that he would return to practice but not play right away. It's starting to look like he might play. Hasn't been limited in any fashion. So what I want to ask you, starting with Leo, do you think he will play? Do you think he should play? And what are realistic expectations for Deebo Samuel coming off this injury?
I think he would play. And I still think he should play as well. The more weapons you could provide Nick Mullins, because that's who we're presuming is going to start this game, is going to help him out even more. As far as realistically what he's going to do, I think it's going to be a lot like what we saw from Brandon Ayuk week 2, to where they're going to give him some routes, some receptions, but they're not going to fully unload him like they did with Ayuk against the Giants, just because you want to ease him in. Shanahan talks a lot about football shape, so you don't want to just throw him out there and instantly give him 10 touches.
I think he's going to play as well, but I think I'm going to go on the reverse on Leo's end. I think they are going to try to involve him heavily because they just want him just to really – there's no better team to really unload against than the Eagles. That's such a depleted team. It feels like every year we're always talking about, oh, they're secondary. And what do you know? Again, their secondary is still inadequate. So you got Deebo out there, Brandon Ayuk, and that's going to be – and if Kittle even plays, who knows, but probably not. But either way – Deebo, you want to unload him against this team. I already can see not a ton of end rounds, but they're going to get us some nice looks for the jet sweeps. They're going to probably instant slant for Nick Mullins, get him comfortable, and it's going to be a nice showcase day for him.
I think that he'll play. I don't think they're going to use him very much. I think they're going to be easing him in over the next couple of weeks to really get him ready for that Rams game. So, I look at maybe 4 or 5 touches for Samuel on Sunday if he plays.
Yeah, I'm with Jack. Jack's real sensible. He's a former coach. He understands how these coaches think. And the way I look at it is it'd be really irresponsible to throw Deebo Samuel in there with a full workload when he missed training camp and there was no preseason. I mean, right now he's at square one. The way that they could conceptualize the next few weeks for him would be preseason. Give him a taste, like a quarter, because that's how it is in preseason. The first game is like 15 snaps. The second game's a little bit more. Give him 15 snaps. Give him 5 touches. That's fine. Get his feet wet so that he's ready to go a full game's workload against the Rams when the season gets crazy. I think that's what I'm going with there. But how do you expect him, if he does get his touches, real quick before we move on, what do you expect they're going to be? Is it going to be an end around, a couple of runs? Is he going to be used the same way Ayuk was used last week? What do we expect? What's the game plan there? Jack?
I like to see him get him out there on an end around. They did that a lot with him really towards the end of last year. Not too much in the beginning of the season, but really starting around the last 5 weeks of the year, they really started doing that with him a lot. So I like to see him kind of get him back in that role, run a couple, one of those, and then a few short routes here and there, just to kind of get his feet wet and get his feet back underneath him for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same way. Just mainly jet sweeps, end arounds, and those little easy slants, and just put the ball in his hands, so that way you don't have to let Nick do too much unless, you need a crucial third down or something, or for some reason if the game's closer than it should be, then you're going to want to look for him on for the sticks or beyond. So I think he's going to be able to blend in there and transition well.
I think they're actually going to keep it a little light on the end arounds to where he's going to get none. Because if you're thinking about it, running from sideline to sideline, that's 50 yards there. And now you're going vertical. That's another 60, 70 yards potentially on one single play. Mm-hmm. I think considering the Jones fracture, they're going to want to keep it easy. And I don't see any end arounds coming for Samuel. They're going to leave that for Ayuk this go around.
I'm with you. I think they're going to be real conservative with how they use Deebo Samuel. I have a side topic real quick, and I don't know the answer to it, and I don't expect you guys do either. But I'm going to throw it out there and something we can think about moving forward. The last few years, the jet sweep was like the rage in the NFL, and it's still effective. But it seems like defenses are pretty good at stopping the actual fly sweep. The motion can be confusing for them, but we saw it against the Giants. The Niners tried a couple of jet sweeps early with Brandon Ayuk. The first one didn't gain much. The second gained 9. When they go to the end around, though, it's big plays, 16, 25, 30 yards, and it's been that way since last year. Why are defenses so vulnerable to the end around, but they seem to be prepared to stop the jet sweep? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. So we're going to have to look at – that's a homework assignment for everyone. Figure out what it is. Jack, what do you think?
Well, we had talked about that yesterday a little bit, and I was looking at some of the film from the last few years with Shanahan. a lot of the bigger runs are on those, like you said, on the end arounds, where you've got the look of the play going one way, but they're coming the other. So you've got what looks like a zone stretch going to the left, and they come back around the other way. And so that's throwing off the defense. And I think that's really what we're seeing there for the most part on those runs.
Right, because the run play is so good in and of itself, the defense has to honor it, and you have the entire defense flowing one direction and moving the wrong way when Deebo Samuel gets the ball. I think there's something to that. And so when the jet sweep comes around, the defense is in position if you have a guy overhanging and setting the edge. Okay, enough of Deebo Samuel. I just find that interesting. It's like defenses had one adjustment, and Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel figured out a real simple readjustment.